It's May. So that means it's the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. So all this month we're going to do special videos looking back at the best Star Wars movie ever made. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with a new video. Whew. What are we going to talk about? Well, as I said at the opening of this, it's May, the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. My personal favorite, like many of you, personal favorite movie. I say personal favorite, but favorite movie. I'm going to move the table again. The table always slides and I'm sticking my camera. Sorry about that. Anyway, let's start all over. Beep, bloop, babaloop. What are we going to talk about? It's May. That means it's the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back. 40 years? The Empire Strikes Back? Can it really be that long ago? I remember doing the bunny hop at school. And then, a few months later, going to see Empire Strikes Back. I have no shame. Anyway, for May, at least once a week, I'm going to take a look back at The Empire Strikes Back. From the toys, the promotion, the release of the film, trailer, who knows, we're going to look at something related to The Empire Strikes Back. And I hope to finally get to those Burger King glasses some of you keep asking me about. But today, I figured being made first, we need to start with really the first look at The Empire Strikes Back, leading up to The Empire Strikes Back. We're going to go back to look at some news articles from as far back as 1978 up until the release of The Empire Strikes Back. I figured this was a good way to start a look back at The Empire Strikes Back. I think I've said The Empire Strikes Back like 1,138 times in this video already. Now, before we get started looking back at The Empire Strikes Back, let's talk about how you can support this channel. Patreon.com. Go there, get some exclusive content, and if you're a Patreon member, very soon you're going to see the nipple outtake. You know you want to see the Junkman's nipple outtake. Or maybe not. Probably just lost all my Patreon subscribers. And you can support this channel by going to thatjunkman.com. Buying a cool shirt like this Kenny Roaster shirt, or maybe this shirt right here. Now, we got all that out of the way. I know you're sick of hearing it. Now let's get back talking about The Empire Strikes Back. We're going to look at one of the first articles I could find from 1978. In fact, February 28, 1978. When it was announced there was going to be a sequel to Star Wars. Sequel plan to Star Wars. Bleep, zap, ping. Activate R2-D2. Time to go chasing Darth Vader again. Star Wars, the space opera that has made more money than any other movie, will have a sequel. Lucasfilm Limited officially announced Monday that the filming will begin in Europe and Africa this summer on a sequel to Star Wars. Reassembling the original cast, Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker, Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia, and Harrison Ford as Han Solo. Africa? Okay, I don't remember that, but that was the first announcement of a Star Wars sequel. Then just called it a Star Wars sequel. They didn't even know it was going to be called Empire Strikes Back. What a bunch of morons. Now let's go a few months later to April 25th, 1978. What does that sound? What could it be? Was there a war? No, it was Ben Burtt recording sound for the upcoming Star Wars sequel. This here's an article about the sound being recorded for the upcoming Star Wars sequel, World War II. Ben Burtt, who was in charge of the sound effects, said the film will probably contain more land battles than space. We need to have recordings of explosions, sounds of shells passing by, to use for spaceships and lasers. Hours and hours of material. Ben Burtt, who won a Special Achievement Oscar for the alien creatures and robot voices in Star Wars, said the new film is scheduled for release around Christmas 1979. Christmas 1979? Yep, that was their plan, but they didn't make it. If they did, We would have been talking about this video back in December. Now let's just go a few days later, April 27th, 1978, where we learn the Star Wars sequel is about to go into production. Yes! Darth Vader lives. Production is ready to begin on the first sequel to Star Wars. Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher have been signed to continue the roles on location in Europe and Africa. Leia Braga based his screenplay on the second in a series of 12 stories from The Adventures of Luke Skywalker by George Lucas, who wrote and directed the original film. His screenplay? His? Well, it'll be about a year later before we got any other news articles, at least ones worth mentioning, and this was about a new cast member being added to the upcoming sequel. For March 25th, 1979, black actor gets role in Star Wars sequel. That's got to be the worst headline I've ever read. Billy Dee Williams has been signed for a co-starring role in the new George Lucas film, a sequel to the hit movie Star Wars. 20th Century Fox Studio announced this week. The Empire Strikes Back reprises the original roles of Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, Harrison Ford, Han Solo, and Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia. Also repeating their parts for Star Wars will be Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, David Prowse, Lord Darth Vader, Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, and Kenny Baker, R2-D2. The film is for release worldwide by 20th Century Fox in the summer of 1980. As Baron Lando Calrissian, Williams plays the governor of a mining colony on a hostile gas planet that owes its nutrition to the Galactic War. Baron Lando Calrissian? That's the first time I ever heard him referred to as a Baron. And it seems by the time of this article, the release date was changed. By this time, it was May 1980. Right on target.
Stay on target.
Now let's look at an article from June 25th, 1979, where it looks like The Empire Strikes Back, a year before release, was already gearing up to be a big hit. Almost a year before the scheduled release film, exhibitors have guaranteed more than $26 million in rentals for The Empire Strikes Back, the continuation of Star Wars according to 20th Century Fox. The movie is in production in Britain. Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher will be recreating their Star Wars role, but without Alec Guinness. George Lucas, creator of the original, is the producer. The sequel is budgeted at $15 million or so, and even with expanding production costs, the film was almost certain to be a moneymaker long before the scheduled premiere next May 21st. This will be 4 days short of 3 years after the opening of Star Wars, which cost $9 million and is by far the all-time box office champion with worldwide receipts of $336 million. It's scheduled to be re-released this August. Alec Guinness not gonna be back for the Star Wars sequel? Sure. Right.
Stay on target.
Now let's get into the 1980s with March 21st. It seems the press kits for The Empire Strikes Back have been released, and this reporter was excited to talk about it. Press kits released for Star Wars sequel. It's arrived. The press kits for The Empire Strikes Back, the sequel to Star Wars, set to open across the country May 21st. Press kits containing neatly packaged collection of photos, credit sheets, and information on the filmmakers and the stars of the picture today sell for more than $50 at movie shops across Los Angeles. So the new Empire kit, a slick black affair with 18 black and white photos, is considered valuable to Star Wars fans, of which there are millions. The Empire Strikes Back was released to American theaters on May 21st, 1980. And here's an article from that very day about fans that had to wait 36 hours to see the movie. Star Wars fans wait 36 hours for sequel. The Force is with us again. Starting today in 126 theaters in North America, Darth Vader breathes down the neck of the Rebel Alliance. Chewbacca growls at danger, and Luke Skywalker lets the Force, a strange, mysterious power, guide him. The Empire Strikes Back, the sequel to the most successful film in history, Star Wars, blends old and new elements in the story. To begin with, producer-creator George Lucas has subtitled the movie Episode 5 and says there will be 7 other Star Wars films. In addition, a Muppet plays a central role. Han Solo gains a large part, one that includes some romance with Princess Leia. What's the same is the avalanche of special effects and national attention. In Hollywood, fans kept outside the theater for 36 hours to see the first showing of the sequel. One of those standing outside in the Egyptian theater, Terry Hardin, said 36 hours was not nearly as difficult as the 3-year hiatus between the films. We're waiting for our high. It's in the door, you know? We don't want anything else. We don't need anything else. The force is with us, and it's going to carry us right into the movie theater, she said. Fans waited 36 hours in line to see The Empire Strikes Back. Kids today would just buy the ticket on their phone 6 months before the movie came out, and Uber to the theater 30 minutes before the film starts, and walk over to their assigned seat to watch the new Star Wars movie. I love technology, but you're killing the fun, dude. Now let's look at an article that came out the day after Star Wars, May 22nd, 1980. Star Wars crew strikes back with sequel. Now this one here is a little bit long for me to go and read it all, and honestly it's kind of small. Maybe you can read the details, but it just goes over the hype of fans waiting to see the sequel to Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. It has some quotes from the theater management. Line started at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they've been waving around all day. It's been a mob scene outside all day long. And one manager said that he couldn't even move at his theater that had 1,000 seats while there were 6,283 people at the theater. Whew, that's a lot of Star Wars fans. Now, let's look at one more article. This one is also from May 22nd, 1980, a day after the premiere in North America of The Empire Strikes Back. Another one that goes on to talk about the success of the film. And just now that I'm looking at it, I can tell that this is the same article with a different headline. So, there's no reason for me to repeat it, and I should edit this out, but I'm probably too lazy and you're probably going to see this anyway. And that's a look at some news articles that led up to the release of Empire Strikes Back, a film that was released 40 years ago this month. If Empire was released 40 years ago this month, that means I'm turning 25 this year. Anyway, well, that's about it. In the comments below, let me know what you think. Were you there for the release of Empire Strikes Back? Were you one of the ones waiting in line for 36 hours? Would you wait for a movie now, 36 hours, to see a film? Kind of missed that event feeling, waiting in line. First you had to wait in line to get a ticket, then come back and wait in line to see the movie. Now I don't remember standing in a long line to see Empire. For Jedi, I do remember standing in a line that went kind of fast. But for The Phantom Menace, I think I was there about 6 hours before the start of the movie. It was a lot of fun. A lot of people cosplay, had lightsabers. Some people even had a Star Wars trivia board game. I do miss that. But you know, gotta get on your phone now and just get your assigned seat and head to the theater right before it starts. Anyway, thank you for watching. As always, please thumb up my videos so I know you like my content and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be back again very soon.